a couple questions, and then see if you're okay to even answer anything. Because if you can't talk, I don't want to ask any questions, okay? So, do you know how many quarters are in dollars? Good. Do you know where you are located today? Good. Do you know what day is today? Very good. And so I'm just here because I want to make sure that A, you're okay, and that B, I get stuff from your body to make sure that nobody is hurting you, okay? You have experienced some trauma, and so we want to make sure that you are taken care of, all right? And I'm going to leave this paperwork for you and my business card. And my business card will have my cell on it. If you need anything, that cell is on 24/7. Okay? You got that? Perfect. I'm going to leave this paperwork right here. You don't have to talk. You don't have to talk at all, okay? But we're not going to talk today, okay? And I'm going to visit you again tomorrow, okay? And I'm going to visit you the next day if you want me to. But I want to make sure that you're okay, okay? So let me put this here for you. And I'm going to leave you my business card. Okay? And then I'm going to take this out of here because we don't need this anymore, okay? Okay. Are you cold? Are your feet cold? A little bit? Just like that, because I'm going to come on this side, okay? Thank you. What about this hand? That's perfect. You can put that one down, okay? So I wanted to tell you, I did talk to Mom for you and Dad. And they asked about you, and they want to see you. That's okay. If you want to see them, you can. If you don't want to see them, you don't have to. But they can't come into the hospital because this is a trauma unit. And so when they move you to a new unit, they may be able to visit. Okay? So we will ask at that point if they can visit you. All right? Is that okay? But you don't have to see them if you don't want to. Okay? Can I take pictures here? Okay? I'm going this side, okay? You're all closed up. How's your legs? Are they swollen? Are they okay? Can we talk tomorrow? I want to talk to you tomorrow, though, okay? Because I feel like I want to give you everything, okay? And I haven't visited yet, so I can't tell you for sure, okay? So I want to make sure that you're okay first. She's at a different hospital, because this is not a baby hospital, okay? Breathe, please, and feel. I want you to breathe, okay? I do not want to put up your blood pressure. It looks like it's going to go up. So, I'm going to have the nurse check, just to be on the safe side, okay? Hold on. Hey, who's her nurse again? I'm sorry. Her nurse? I just want to make sure that her blood pressure is not going up too high.
No, I can't see.
Can you check that just for me? I just want to make sure that her blood pressure is okay and I'm not elevating it in any way.
I don't know what it has been, but she's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, I was concerned
Yes.
because I'm like, I see it a little bit spiking and I'm like, I do not want to cause any spike in anything.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know anything about medical
It's
stuff.
okay. That's what we're here for.
Okay. I get scared too, just so you know. Okay.
We get scared with other stuff too.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I just want to make sure you're okay. That's it. And when I look at that and then it starts going up, I'm like, uh-oh. So, because you can't speak to me currently, is why I don't want to talk, okay? I want you to be able to say it. Well, you can write stuff down. You want to write stuff down? Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Let me get something to write with, okay? Are you whining? You want to write. I don't understand. So, let me get something for you to write. I don't want you to talk, okay? Let me get something for you to write with. I have her write stuff. She wants to talk. Yes. How about that? That's a juvenile. Juvenile. These are all juveniles. This, yes, I have them in different languages, just so you know, yes. Okay. Yep. I know all types of stuff. But that's a juvenile. Alright. At least I got one. All that matters. Okay. And I think she has a book. I think I take a look at it. I'm going to see what she can write on that. Alright. I found something for you to write with, okay? Okay. Before you say anything to me, I want you to read your rights, okay? be used against you in a court of law. All right? You have the right to talk to a lawyer or have them present during questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed for you and any questioning if you wish. Okay? You can decide at any time during this interview that you can exercise your rights and you can quit being answered with any questions, or you can quit me asking any questions or making any statements. You can just stop at any point and say, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Is that okay? Fair enough? Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to write everything for you, today's date, which is 12/9. We are at Kennestone Hospital. Okay, the time is 15:59. And I'm going to put mine. Okay? And him? I'm going to have you witness her signing this, okay? I'm going to sign here. Okay. You're going to put your name here, how old you are, your date of birth, your address where you live. If you don't have an address, don't put one. You're going to read each right and then put your initials, and then read that paragraph saying you understand your rights. Then you're going to sign, okay? That's for you, and that's for you. Did they give you one of these two?
I like to get to the entrance where they turn people around.
Oh, okay.
They check me for temperature, and then the door is sitting there. So I got to walk into the door. That's because
currently getting an autopsy done to find out what actually happened to her body. Okay? You want to ask more questions? No? I'll leave it for you. You can ask me anything you want. Who did that to you? Did your husband do that to you? That's a question? You want to answer? Yeah? Okay. I want to speak to Benjamin, Ben Michael, and Renee Driver. Okay? We can't let you speak to Benjamin. Okay? Because you have that in there. We can't let you speak to your mom, and your mom said she's coming. Okay? Do you want to speak to her? She's coming here. Do you want to speak to her in person, face to face, or on the phone? In person, face to face. Okay, good. So I've already called your mom, and she said she's going to be here tomorrow morning. Okay? She's on her way. You have another question? You cannot speak to Benjamin because I think he did this to you. Can you tell me what you're saying? I don't want anybody to hurt you anymore.
Her heart rate is getting elevated. Take some big deep breaths.
Okay, let me read it. Let me read it. Breathe. I want you to breathe. Breathe. Okay.
Look at me. Breathe. Slow. You're breathing. Look at me.
What's the name? Chloe.
Chloe. Chloe. Look at me. Breathe. Breathe. There you go. There you go. You're doing good. Just breathe. Just breathe. Okay. It was going wonky because her pulse ox was right here, so when she was writing, it was just giving us... No, it's fine. That's why it was alarming. But then she just got worked up.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
You want me to read it? He didn't do it. I did. I was going insane and no longer wanted to be with his friends, but kept coming back for him. I only wanted my baby and husband, but he refused. Who are his friends? Who are they? Do you know their names? Help me. You don't want to? Okay. Okay? Okay. don't want to call him and get you worked up. Okay? You're already worked up. I can see it. Listen to me. I'm coming tomorrow again. Can we call tomorrow? Okay? He can't come here because they won't let him. Because of COVID, nobody can come in this hospital. So when you switch roles, then people can visit you, okay? But nobody can come in here. Only law enforcement can come in here. Nobody else. They're not letting anybody into this hospital. It's a major COVID center, okay? Listen, tomorrow they may move you to a new room. You may be out of the ICU, okay? And then at that point, how about we call him now? You want to do that? Tomorrow? What time? What time do you wake up? Okay, that's okay. What about 9:30 a.m.? Good? You want me to set a date with you? 9:30 a.m. That's good? Good. I don't want to get you worked up anymore. Okay? No more working up. Okay? I want you to breathe. Alright? And again, I'm Detective Cruz. I'm here for you, okay? Immediately, she didn't suffer. Immediately, she did not suffer before she left the house. Okay? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Okay? That is for your family to decide, okay? When you get better, your family wants to take her to Knoxville. I know. Okay? Benjamin wants her body too. He said so. Okay? You want Benjamin to have her body? He can't come here and talk. Tomorrow he can't come and talk. They won't let him come into this hospital, and I don't know if they're transferring me from here. I have to ask, okay? And I know, but we can call him tomorrow, okay? I'm going to get his phone number and everything like that. No, he doesn't have your phone. It's at the house? You want me to go get it? Okay. He's not at the house. I want you to breathe, please. Going up again. You're scared? Your stuff is at the house. Upstairs in the room? Okay. Your phone and the bag. Okay. The phone and the bag is upstairs in the room. I got that. Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell me before I come back tomorrow for you? You just want to call him? You want to talk to him? Okay. Okay. I will make that happen. Okay? All right? I will make it happen. Okay? I'm going to get his phone so that way we can call. I have your phone. I have my phone. I have your phone. Yes. Okay? But I can't bring it here because it's dead. We gotta charge it. It's dead? Yes. We tried to look to see about your mom's phone number and couldn't find it on your phone, so I had to look somewhere else. Take the pictures off? Is mine off? Yours is off. Yes. Okay. I'm going to charge it for you tonight. Okay? And I will bring it tomorrow. Oh, I can't get it now. Canton is far from here. And your phone is in Canton. Canton is like 45 minutes from here. Okay? We're not near Canton. So I would have to drive all the way over there and then come all the way back here. Okay? That's why I'm going to do it tomorrow. We're going to schedule an appointment tomorrow. Okay? 9:30 a.m. Okay? And your mom, she's coming tomorrow. So hopefully we can get you in a new room so your mom can see you. I talked to your mom already. You want me to talk to them about moving you? Okay. I will. Okay. Is there anything else I'm missing? No? All right. Tomorrow, 9:30. Okay?
Yeah, but I do, that's the only way I would get my husband to know.
I swear or affirm the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can have a seat. Can you state your name and spell it, please?
Carly Blomquist, CarlyBlomquist.
Okay. Do we want her to adjust her microphone down a little bit? Can you just pull that down just a smidge? Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you tell me how you're employed?
Yeah, I'm an emergency room physician at Northside Cherokee Hospital.
All right. And can you tell the jury a little bit about your educational background and training?
Yeah, I went to undergrad, pre-med at Emory University, graduated in 2005, and then I went to medical school at Medical College of Georgia, graduated in 2010, and then I went back to residency where I trained based out of Emory University at 5 different hospital sites, including Grady primarily, and then after that, so I finished that in 2013, and I've been a practicing ER physician since then at Northside Cherokee, so for a little over 10 years.
Okay. And in your practice as an emergency room physician, what does that mean?
So a lot of things. There's a variety of patients that I take care of. I don't work at a level 1 trauma center anymore, but I trained at Grady, which was one. We do get occasional traumas, but we don't get the bigger traumas unless they're very, very critical and they have to come to us. But I take care of heart attacks and strokes and sepsis patients, and occasional traumas, car accidents, and then basically patients that are they lose their pulse on the way to a trauma center, so they have to come to us instead.
Okay. And you say on their way to a trauma center. Northside Cherokee ER is not a trauma center?
It's not.
Okay. And does that influence what types of patients are brought to you in an emergency setting?
Yes. So if there is a serious trauma, then they should go to a trauma center if they can make it there. But if they can't make it there, they go to the nearest ER.
Okay.
But at Grady, which is where I trained primarily, I was there for 3 years. That's a level 1 trauma center, so I do have a lot of experience with trauma patients.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time I would tender Dr. Blomquist as an expert in emergency medicine. No objection?
So noted.
I want to talk to you about December the 8th of 2020. Have you had an opportunity to review your records from your treatment of Hannah Nicole Driver?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember that incident, her coming into the ER?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember that independent from your records review?
Yes, I just reviewed the records yesterday for the first time, but I recalled before that.
Okay. And tell me, apart from your review of the records, what you recall in terms of your memory of responding to that incident.
So I was an assisting physician on that case. The primary physician is one of my colleagues I've worked with for 10 years, but I came into shift and there was a crowded room, so I jumped in to see how I could help. So I entered the room and I saw Hannah, and they were securing the airway when I entered the room, and then I just jumped in to see where I could help basically in the resuscitation efforts. Her clothes were bloody, CPR was in progress. I could see stab wounds on the neck that were no longer bleeding, and there wasn't any apparent sign of life. Dr. Albinger had already secured one access in one of her legs, and so I did it in the other leg so we could have more access for medications. And unfortunately, after all the attempts that we tried to get her heart back beating, it was very clear that that wasn't going to happen. I performed the bedside cardiac ultrasound, which we do a lot of times during ACLS before we call it, and we could see that there was no cardiac activity. So then time of death was called.
Okay. You indicated when you entered the room that they were securing an airway. What does that mean?
Intubating, putting on the ventilator machine. So basically it's just a process that we do where we put an ET tube into the airway and connect it to the ventilator, or bag them until we get life back, basically, and then we'll connect it to the ventilator machine.
Okay. And you indicated when you entered the room, you entered into a crowded room. How many people were working on Hannah?
I don't recall exactly how many people. I would guess around 10, but I don't really know.
Okay. And then you said Dr. Albinger had secured access through one of her legs. What does that mean?
Yeah, so from what I read in the documentation, they were unable to get any peripheral IVs en route, so they didn't have any access to her venous system in order to give the medications that we have to give to get the heart beating back, like IV fluids, epinephrine, bicarb, which is what she had received. So we have to have access somehow. So an emergency situation when we can't get access in the veins, which often happens when they don't have any blood, we get access into the bone. So there's a drill that we use in order to gain access into the bone of the leg, and then we can give medications or blood or fluids in that area.
Okay. And you indicated that sort of at what point after getting those access points, securing the airway, at what point did you all shift to the cardiac ultrasound to make decisions about whether to continue life-saving efforts or call a time of death?
I believe it was 1502 from the documentation, but I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. If I show you your record,
that would be
help?
helpful. Yeah.
May I approach?
Yes.
I think that's when I placed the IO, but let me see. Patient arrived to the ER at 1444. Looks like the patient was intubated at 1500, and that's around when I would have entered the room, because I remember that. And then at 1502 is when I placed the IO in the right knee.
And what is the IO?
Of the intraosseous line that I talked about with the drill.
Okay. You put that in her right knee, and you said Dr. Albinger had already put one in her left?
Correct.
Okay. And then what time was that?
That was at 1502, and then at 1509 is when I performed the ultrasound.
Okay.
And then at 1510 is when time of death was called.
Okay. And when you performed the ultrasound at 1509, what did you see?
But there was no cardiac activity, there was no fluid around the heart, basically no sign of life,
Okay.
no sign that the heart was pumping at all.
Was there any other medical intervention you all could have done at that point to preserve life?
Unfortunately, no. She had gotten multiple rounds of epi, she had gotten IV fluids, she had gotten bicarb, and it was clear that the wounds were no longer bleeding. She had lost a lot of blood.
What does that mean, that the wounds were no longer bleeding from a medical position?
That means that she had basically exsanguinated already. Usually if you're doing compressions and there's still blood in the body, there's going to be blood coming out of the wound every time you do a compression. And that wasn't happening, which makes you think that she was empty.
Okay. You used the word empty. Was that?
Her blood was gone.
Okay. All right. And what time did you all call her death?
1510.
I have no further questions.
Cross-examination.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Prior to you jumping in to assist all the other doctors and staff on that day, did you know anything about any of the backstory about how Hannah came to the hospital?
No.
Did you ever find anything out in the course of your treatment or after the fact?
Afterwards, I had heard that her mom was at another hospital.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else of this witness?
No, Your Honor.
You can be excused. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, the state needs to take up something outside the presence of the jury.
All right. We're going to let you be in recess in the jury room. So don't, leave us your notepads. Don't talk to one another. And we will call you in as soon as we're ready, hopefully in about 10 minutes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I promise that I will be honest with you.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have some opposition to swearing? Is that
Yes,
the
I do.
concern?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you affirm that you will be honest and tell the truth today?
I just told you that I would be, and I will be. I will be completely honest and transparent in regards to the matter of which we're here today.
Okay.
And my experience with this circumstance.
Okay. Great. And can you state your full name?
Jason Allen Spillers,
All right. How old are you, Mr. Spillers?
36.
All right. And you're wearing orange.
Yeah.
Are you in custody at this time?
Not in Cherokee County.
Okay. Do you have pending charges somewhere else?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And does it have anything to do with this case?
Absolutely not.
Okay. And the only reason I'm asking you that is, have we made any kind of deals with you or discussed your charges with you in any way?
Actually, you made it very clear that you're uninterested in the charges that I have because it has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not going to ask you anything else about that.
Okay.
So I want to know how you know Benjamin Ben Michael.
I call him Z.
Okay.
And I call Chloe a Lexus driver Kawani. Those are
Alright.
the names of which they were introduced to me as.
Okay.
So just to relieve confusion for the court and for the jury, these are the names that I still call these people by.
Okay.
So I just want to make that very clear so there's no confusion. And maybe I just want to make that very clear. So Z, I met Z in April of 2020 through an associate, and we met because of an interest in trust law and using trusts to legally incorporate yourself to minimize risk of obstruction by the government, like in the forms of taxes and being able to hold your properties and assets in a trust and making them safer. And there's a whole lot to that. So, I mean, how much would you like for me to talk about that? That's just the nature of how I met him.
Okay, and that's great. And I'll just keep asking small questions till we get to all the information that we need.
Sure.
You said that you had the interest in the trust law, but how did you actually come to know him? How did you forge that connection? Did you meet him somewhere in particular?
What do you mean? Like
how did you come to know he exists?
Through Peggy Schindler.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you met him through a mutual contact?
A mutual friend.
Okay.
Yes. I saw Peggy in Whole Foods.
Okay.
And she was telling me about the trust.
Okay.
But she perhaps doesn't have the vernacular or the capacity to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And so Z does. So I spoke with Z, and and then Peggy gave me the trust, and I began a relationship with Z from there.
Okay. And you said that was April of 2020?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And so going forward for the rest of this questioning, I'm going to refer to Benjamin
Yeah.
as Z.
That'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah, to
that will
avoid
help you.
confusion for everyone.
Okay.
Thank
and
you.
Chloe will refer to as Kuwani.
Kuwani, yes.
That's how you.
Spell that, please.
Kuwani, K-U apostrophe A-N-I.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And is that how you were introduced to them?
Yes.
Okay. And is that how you knew them through the entirety of your relationship and still with
Yes.
them? Okay. So in April of 2020, when you met Z,
Yes.
was that an in-person meeting when you first encountered him?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. And where physically were you?
In a park. We met in a park in South Asheville.
Okay. In North Carolina?
In North Carolina, yes.
Okay. Was he living there or staying there at that time?
Yeah, he was staying with Peggy.
Okay. And when you met him, did you become aware of his relationship status?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you learn about his relationship status?
That he has 4 wives, actually.
Okay.
And that he practices polygamy.
Okay.
Is that the question? Is that the answer you were looking for?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at.
Sure.
At that time, were you in a relationship?
Yes, I was.
And did you exercise any type of polygamy?
No.
Okay. And so when you initially met him, did you come to know his wives?
Not initially, but we did later. I believe I met Kwani briefly in May, but we really spent some time together in late May
Okay.
when I went down to Florida to visit them with the girl that I was with at the time.
Okay. So you had a girlfriend at the time?
So we can call her my girlfriend, but
Okay.
she was living with me, and I mean, I guess you could say that I have always believed in plurality as well, that that men should have multiple women, but I was never in a committed. I was with Jen; she lived with me,
Okay.
and I took care of her. I provided her. She didn't work, so I provided her with food and shelter and safety, and companionship, and love, but it was never in our agreement that I wasn't allowed to see other women.
Okay.
So,
and as it relates to Z and his relationship, who were his wives that you came to know?
so their given names on their birth certificates would be Chloe, Alexis Driver, Jessica Lee Kafijian, and Sarah Stiles.
Okay.
But those women will be referred to as Kuwani and Anna, Gamliana, and Shalig, respectively, because those are their chosen Hebrew names.
Okay. Tell me about Jessica. You said, what did she go by as her chosen Hebrew
Gamliana.
name? Gamliana?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
Gamiliana. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look at it.
Okay.
Gamliana, yes.
And you all called her Gami?
Gami or Anna, she prefers now.
Okay.
Because she says that people have a hard time pronouncing Gami and they question her, so she goes by Anna now.
Gami or Anna. Okay.
Yes.
And is that a decision that she made to change that from Gami to Anna?
Yes.
Okay. Because of
Like
her,
like I said, she says that when she introduces herself as Gami, people say, what? Got. And so she just goes by Anna now.
okay. And then Sarah is the legal name. What?
Shaylig.
Shaylee?
Shaylig.
How do you spell it?
Sheilig. It's a Hebrew word.
Shaylig?
Shaylig. It's
Okay.
a Hebrew word, yes.
All right. So, when did you meet Kawani, Gami, and Shaylee?
Like I was saying, I think I actually met Kawani and Gami in May before they left, like briefly at Peggy's house.
Before they left North Carolina?
They left North Carolina to go to Florida, but
Okay.
I can't remember. It seems like I did. So you're asking me, this is like 5 years ago almost. So, whether I met them before I went to Florida, I can't remember. It feels like I did, but that's kind of irrelevant because we went to Florida, Jennifer and I, this girl that I was with at the time.
Okay.
We went to Florida to visit them and stay with them.
All right. Do you know when that was that you went to Florida to visit and stay with Z? And
It was after Kwani's birthday, which is the 18th.
Okay. Tell me when Kawani's birthday is. 18th of what?
May.
Okay.
Um,
So after May 18th of 2020, you and Michelle,
no, Jennifer.
sorry, Jennifer,
Yes.
you and Jennifer went to Florida,
Yes, we did.
and did you stay with Z and Gami?
No, we stayed in our van.
You stayed in your van, okay.
Yeah, but we spent all of our time with them though. Like they were staying in a motel at the time
Okay.
in Nokomis Beach.
Where?
Nokomis Beach,
Where's
Florida.
that?
It's by Venice. It's like south of Sarasota.
Okay. And you mentioned that when you first met them, they were in North Carolina, and then they went to Florida, that they were staying in hotels. For the duration of your relationship with them, was that routine for them to kind of move around or travel or stay in different places?
Yeah, they were moving around a lot at the time.
Okay.
From what I understood, but they had been in, I can't recall what they were doing before that, but they stayed in Florida, and then they went to Connecticut, and they would stay in different places for like months at a time. You know, I know that they stayed in Florida for months. After we left Florida, they stayed there for at least another month, I think.
Okay.
And they would stay in one place, like a singular location, for a few months, and then they would go to the next location wherever they decided to go. I know that Kwani and Z had been in Myrtle Beach together for a pretty extended amount of time, in Virginia Beach. That's where they met Gamliana. So they stayed in these places for extended periods of time.
Okay. So you're aware of Florida, North Carolina, Connecticut, Virginia.
Yes.
Anywhere else?
Gosh, I don't know. You know, I mean,
Did they ever spend time in Tennessee?
I don't think any extended time. I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
All right.
so
And so you indicated sometime in May of 2020 you went down to Florida and spent a lot of time with them?
yes,
Okay.
we spent a week down there.
A week?
Yeah, about
Was
a
that
week.
the first time you saw Benjamin with all three of the women?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you first met him and learned that he had 3 wives, sort of what was your thought process on that arrangement or situation?
I thought that was really interesting because, you know, usually you only see that with like religious cults like Mormonism. Even though, you know, scripturally, even, you know, old Jewish and Christian tradition promotes plurality. Like it's promoted in scripture that men have multiple wives. Like it's written about all through the Bible. But you don't really see it that much anymore. Perhaps in Mormonism only. And I had spoken with Z extensively about what was happening with his his wives in this situation, and I found it pretty interesting because he was providing care, all of the things that a man is supposed to provide for a woman. Like I said, and it was kind of like something that I was interested in because, you know, like I said with Jen, I provided Jen with food, a place to shelter. She didn't work. I provided her with companionship and love, and I listened to her, and I was affectionate towards her, even though I was never in a committed relationship. But it's like the value of having a wife is profound, you know, like the value of having that intimacy that perhaps couldn't be achieved through a non-marital relationship. And so Z had basically taken what I found to be what I wanted in life was plurality, but also incorporating the deep intimacy of marriage with multiple women. And I thought that was highly interesting, and I was very curious to see how that played out and how that worked. And so was Jennifer. Honestly, you know, she's like, whoa, you know, like multiple wives, really, wow, like, you know, we like that's different. Like we should totally go hang out with him, you know. So we did. So we went to Florida. Sorry, I'm gonna adjust myself.
You're fine.
My niece.
And you said you were kind of interested to see how it played out from
Or
May.
basically, like we're talking about like the social dynamic
Sure.
of a circumstance like that, which I think is really like where most people go with that. When they hear about polygamy, most individuals will question the social dynamic of such relationship, and how does that work? Like, what is the social dynamic between the women, and the social dynamic between the women and the women and the men? I mean, you can see these types of shows. There's shows on television now that promote polygamy and
Like Sister Wives?
like Sister Wives. Yeah, exactly. And so it's kind of like to see a firsthand perspective of that, of somebody who's really living like that. I thought was highly interesting. I was very interested in what these women had to say and what they were about.
Okay.
So was Jennifer.
Tell me, you said you're interested to hear what the women had to say and what they were.
Well, yeah, I was just curious how they interacted with each other.
Okay.
You know, so.
From May of 2020, when you said that you and Jennifer went to Florida and started spending time with them, how
That's
much
right.
time did you spend with Z and the 3 women from May until December of 2020?
Oh, well, there's a lot.
Okay.
I mean, so I went to go see them in May, and then I broke up with Jennifer. I broke it off with Jennifer over the summer, so she actually never saw them again.
Okay.
And then I stayed in Connecticut at Z's parents' house at the Joyce home in Connecticut in September for, I think I was there for about a little over 2 weeks.
Tell me about his parents. What do you know about them?
Oh, I love the Joyces. They're good. Mike Joyce is great. Is a good man. You know, they're essentially Michelle Joyce is a very they're very powerful people. Like even they're like really intelligent. They're highly intelligent people, highly well spoken about their traditions and values, and they're very warm and open and welcoming folks. Like,
are they his biological parents still married?
Yes.
Do you know what they do for a living?
Michelle sells real estate, and Mike works at a factory.
Works at a factory?
Like a machine shop.
Okay. So you said you went to Connecticut and you stayed at his parents' house?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how much time did you spend at his parents' house?
Like I said, I was there for a little over 2 weeks, I think.
Okay. Was he there with the 3 women as well?
Kawani and Gamliana were staying there, and Shaylig was there sometimes, but her parents also live in Connecticut, so she was at her parents' some too.
Okay, so Shaylig's parents are from Connecticut as well?
Yeah, they live it's like 45 minutes down the road in Southbury.
Okay, so Gami and Kawani and Z and you spent time at his parents' house.
We sure did.
While Shaylig spent time with her family?
Yeah, I was sleeping in my van. Again, I had a van
Okay.
that I stayed in.
Okay.
And so I was sleeping in the driveway in the van.
And was it, from your observations, was it common for these women to go spend time with their families outside of their relationship with Z?
I mean, if they wanted to.
Okay.
I don't think, I didn't really get the feeling that Kawani or Gamliana were very, enthusiastic about going to spend time with their parents.
Okay.
And that they loved their husband and they stayed with him.
Okay, but Shaylig wanted to go see her family in Connecticut?
Yeah, I think it was just like a matter of convenience too, because they're all like staying at the house, and Shaylig she went back and forth,
Okay.
so.
Did you ever meet the parents of Shaylig, Gami, or
I've met all these people.
Kawani?
I've met them all.
You met all of their parents?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Tell me the circumstances under which you went into their families' homes.
Let's see. I met Phil and Nancy Kafijian in October of 2020. I have actually stayed with Ben and Sharon Stiles at their home in Connecticut. I stayed there for the better part of a month.
That's Shaylig's parents?
That's Shaylig's parents, yes, I sure did. And I've met Eric and Renee Driver on several occasions. I met them for the first time in the summer of 2020. I met Kawani and Z and Eric and Renee Driver at a river in Tennessee, and we spent the day together.
Okay.
That was the first time I met them.
So Phil and Nancy Kafijian are
Jessica's parents.
Jessica or
Gamliana's
parents.
Yeah, I knew that. We're going to try to avoid this confusion.
Where do they live?
They live in Virginia Beach.
In Virginia Beach, okay.
Yeah.
And then you said that Shaylig's parents live in Connecticut.
Yes, they do in Southbury.
And do you know where Eric and Renee Driver, Kawani's parents, live?
In Knoxville, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I've never been to their house,
Okay.
so.
All right.
But I know that she's from Jacksonville originally, but
Okay.
I think they moved
Okay.
to Knoxville.
Okay. And do you know what the order of the women coming into this marriage was? Like
Yes.
who was first?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was Kawani first.
Okay. Do you
And
know
the-
how long she had been with Z, Like, as of 2020, when you met him, how long they've been together?
Gosh, I don't know the answer to that question. Years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who came next?
Jessica Gamliana.
Okay. And how long had she been with him?
I think, like, Kawani and Z had been together since she was, like, right when she was 18. And then they met Gami a few months later.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know the answer to these questions
Okay.
exactly.
If you don't know, then
Yeah.
that's fine.
I'm
but
just
if you
like
do know.
telling you what I think it is.
Okay.
It's kind of like I haven't really considered that. I haven't, I'm sure I was told at some point, but I mean, golly,
Okay. And from your understanding, who was the last woman to kind of enter the picture?
Shaylee.
Shaylig.
Yes.
And when you met them, do you have any idea how long Shaylig had been in a relationship with Z?
I'm gonna guess like 6 months or something like that.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Yeah, within a year. It had been within a year.
Okay. Do you still have a relationship with Z?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you know whether Shaylig and Gami are still with him?
Yes, they are.
They are.
They
Okay.
are very much still with him.
Okay. All right. So when we were talking about the sort of the social dynamic of polygamy and sort of your interest in that when you met Z,
Yes.
what did you observe about sort of his treatment of the women or their interaction and treatment toward him? Like, what was that from
I
your
observed
perspective?
a very beautiful, healthy relationship.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
All like they would wake up every morning and talk about feelings, which I thought was really cute.
Talk
And
about feedings?
feelings.
Oh, feelings. Okay.
Like they would wake up every morning. They would be in the hotel, and Z would wake up with these girls, and they'd all wake up and sit around and talk about feelings
Okay.
and how they felt that day and why they were feeling that way. And he would sit and be patient and kind and caring to them,
Okay.
and treat them the way a wife should be treated, with compassion and patience and love.
Okay.
And even Jennifer and we both observed this, I was actually a little surprised at the amount, like the absence of petty argument and jealousy, because you have to kind of expect that. That's what Jen said too. Like we were like, wow, this is really like they really have a healthy thing here, that they're all interacting with each other. They all share the same type of value for humanness. That like there's a real value here that you don't see in a lot of individuals. Like most people act solely in self-interest, and that's not what you saw with these girls and their man. And it was really sweet, actually.
Okay.
Like Z was always he was being very kind to them, and they all got along. Like we stayed there for over a week in the van, and we didn't see any bickering, and we were with them all day, every day,
Okay.
like this whole time.
And that was the week
so-
you spent with him in Florida in May of 2020?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
When you left Florida, I asked you sort of the broad question of how much time you spent with them between May of 2020 and December of 2020.
Sure.
But after that week in May, when did you later spend chunks of time with them and where?
Well, like I said, I met up with Z and Kawani and her parents at a river in Tennessee.
Do you know when that was?
Gosh, sometime in the summer of 2020. I actually cannot remember exactly when that was.
Okay.
And then I stayed with Z. I stayed in his parents' driveway for a few weeks in September. Then I went back home, and then I came to Virginia Beach in the middle of October, and I stayed there for about 3 weeks with Z and Kawani, and Gamliana too. Sarah Shaylig was in Connecticut at that time with her parents.
Okay, so in October, you spent 3 weeks in Virginia. Shaylig was with her parents.
That's right.
And Kuwani and Gami and you and Z were together in Virginia?
That's right.
Okay. I want to get signed back into this computer. I want to show you, may I approach the witness? Yes. I'm gonna show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 84. Do you recognize who this person is?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Gami.
Okay. Does this accurately reflect the person you know?
It was in the garage, and Shaylig and Gamliana and I were all standing in the driveway.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened next?
I heard Z scream.
Okay. And
Like
what did
this.
you hear him scream?
No, just like this, like at the like this terrified, painful scream, like just like a scream, like it was like shocking. You know, like Z doesn't really scream like that. That's the only time I've ever heard him express any sound that even closely resembled that. It was
Is
like,
he typically quiet?
No, he just doesn't. You know, I mean, the trauma, the pain. It was just a scream of utter, just so much pain was in his voice, and so I didn't even know what had happened. I had no idea what had happened. But I was outside and I told Gami, I was like, "You need to call 911 right now." And so she started calling 911, and I ran inside the house. Shaylig was already running back in the house, and so did Jerry.
Okay.
When we heard him scream like that.
You
This is how I remember. Maybe Jerry wasn't standing outside. I feel like these details are probably more or less irrelevant, but at one point Jerry was standing outside. I don't know if Jerry was still in the garage right there at the house when I heard Z scream, but Gami and I definitely were. And I told her to call the cops.
Okay.
To call 911 because something was definitely wrong. Like, I had no idea what had happened, but it was a scream of pain and like something like bad, you know, like.
You previously testified that you're not a call the cops kind of guy, and you're
So-
obviously sitting here wearing orange.
That's
so, tell me what about what you heard made your first instinct be call 911?
You know, I can't really remember. I don't remember. I just remember hearing the scream, and perhaps like I can't even remember what happened in between there. It's like it's been so long. It's like I don't know exactly what the sequence of events was, but something compelled me. I said, "Gami, you need to call 911 right now," and she did.
Okay.
And I ran inside, and then I ran upstairs because that's where the scream was coming from, and then I walked into this like really horrible thing.
Okay. What happened when you walked into the room?
I walked into the room and there was blood everywhere, and Z was I'm gonna talk through this one. Z was trying to give Nimsi like mouth to mouth, like she had obviously had some laceration wounds to her neck, and there was like blood everywhere, and Kawani was laying on the ground, and she had tried to kill herself by stabbing herself in the chest and in the throat, and she was bleeding profusely. And so I was just went into shock, basically. Like I have very little or no experience, especially with a child. Like, I mean, I've witnessed a couple things, but not like this. And so Z's like giving his daughter mouth to mouth, trying to like breathe some life back into her, and she's like gurgling her last breath, and Kawani's laying on the floor bleeding profusely.
Was Nimsi still alive when you went into the room?
She was on her way out.
Okay.
Like she was gurgling, but she wasn't moving, and she looked very not alive.
Okay. And tell me about your interaction with Kawani, sorry.
I went to the ground, and Z said, "Keep pressure on the wounds." And so I did. I went down and I kept pressure on the wounds, and I tried to just stop them from bleeding. I was using my sweatshirt and my hands to put pressure on the wound that was on her chest and on her neck until the paramedics got there.
Okay. And how was Kawani reacting to you? Was she saying anything or doing anything?
She was saying that she wanted to see Nimsi one more time, and she was actually trying to push me away. She was, you know what, earlier I said there was only one time when I touched Kawani, but that was the second time, when I was trying to save her life. I was holding pressure on the wound, and she had blood all over her hands, and she was pushing my face away, telling me, stop, I'm supposed to die, and I wanted to see, and then she was like trying to lean up to see Nimsi one more time, but I held her down because I thought that, you know, I just didn't want her to lose any more blood, because there was blood everywhere and all over me and all over our clothes and all over the floor and the bed. It was like a massacre. and I just wanted to try to save her life. So I held her down and kept pressure on the wounds for probably about 2 minutes, because the paramedics came really fast.
Okay. So she told you to stop. She tried to push you away.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm supposed to die," and that she wanted to see Nimsy one last time.
Yes.
Is that what you recall?
Yes.
Okay. And you indicated that you were attempting to save her life, and that
Yeah.
he was attempting to save Hannah's life.
Yeah, he was.
Did you care about Kuwani and Hannah?
Of course.
Do you still care about them?
Yes.
Okay. And after this happened, did you maintain a relationship with Kuwani?
Actually, yeah.
After she was arrested, did you all continue to communicate with her?
Yeah, she called from inside jail a lot.
Okay.
And we had a chance to speak a couple times. Yeah.
Okay. And do you know for how long she maintained a relationship with you and Z and the other women after she was arrested for murdering Hannah?
Gosh, I can't remember. I have no idea.
Okay.
A while, more than a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you a part of some of those phone conversations?
I was, yeah.
And what was the tone of those phone conversations?
Pretty, like, mellow, really. Like, just, pretty, just, she's in jail, and, we were talking to her and just reminding her that we love her, and that even though this was like a horrible thing, that we forgive her. And we know that wasn't her that did that. And we still love her and care about her, and we forgive her for that, because we know that she would never do that.
And did she continue to express love for all of you?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And have you maintained contact and stayed in contact with Z?
Yeah.
Okay. And have y'all discussed that, you still care about Kuwani and you don't want anything bad to happen to her?
That's right.
Okay. And have you discussed that it is your desire that she go to a mental hospital and not be in state custody?
I mean, honestly, when it comes to that, I feel like my opinion is that this woman has suffered enough, with all of her, I can't imagine having to deal with knowing that something that you lost control of your own mind to the point to where you killed your own daughter. Like, women don't kill their babies. Like, that's really rare, and when you do see it, it's usually a case of, like, the child is unwanted. That's not what this was. This was not an unwanted child. This was some kind of deep thing being expressed through Kuwani, that started, like I say, the trauma that fractured her, I think, began when she was a child. And Z did what he could to help her with that, and so did all of us, and it ended up being this really horrific thing. And I do think that basically, like, I know that, I just don't think that prison is the place for her. No, I don't.
Okay.
I think that she's just gonna degrade, and these prisons are horrible, and they're just like.
Have you stated previously that you think she suffered enough and that you all believe she needs to be free in society?
That's a question mark. Like, free in society, I think that she should be. I think that it should be acknowledged that in the term of what we'll call, not guilty due to insanity. It's like you hear about people using this as a cop-out plea, and this is actually like one real one,
Okay.
And
we've discussed that you don't know what the law in Georgia is, right?
I don't.
Mr. Foreman, has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Is it signed and dated by you as foreman?
Yes, it is.
All right, if you could give the verdict form to the bailiff, I will inspect it before I ask you to publish it. You'll give that back to the foreman. Mr. Foreman, if you will stand, Mr. Ivor and counsel, if you will stand, if you will read the jury's verdict, please.
For each count below, we, the jury, find the defendant, count 1, malice murder, guilty beyond a reasonable doubt but mentally ill. Count 2, felony murder, aggravated assault, guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but mentally ill. Count 3, felony murder, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but mentally ill. Count 4, aggravated assault, guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but mentally ill. Count 5, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but mentally ill. So found this 20th day of November, 2024.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bailiff, if you will allow counsel to inspect the verdict form. You may be seated, counsel. Anything else of these jurors?
No, not for the state.
All right. Members of the jury, this case will be set for sentencing on another day, likely either to be December 12th or December 18th. I'm going to confirm that with counsel after we excuse you. You are welcome to attend the sentencing hearing if you would like to. You are welcome to contact the clerk's office to find out what the sentence is after sentencing if you prefer to do that. Throughout this trial, I have cautioned you about not talking to others and not getting any media information about the case. You are now free from that. You may talk to one another or anybody else you'd like to about this case, but only if you would like to. You're not required to have any discussions with anybody, and that includes counsel or the media. And I want to say just a word. This is one of the first experiences that I have had with the televising of a trial. And what we know is that people, literally around the world have been watching us and commenting on what has transpired. And those of us, who do this for a living, we expect that. We understand that there are going to be comments, and some of them favorable, but some of them not. And we know that that's not part of your job, and that's not what you are used to. I am not in any way commenting on your verdict, meaning I have no position in favor of or against it. But what I know is that you have worked really hard. You have dealt with some unpleasant issues. You have been timely. You have, done everything that we have asked of you as far as, showing up and being here and paying attention. And so we appreciate that. We know that you've missed a lot of days of work, that you have had to reschedule appointments, that you probably had to ask a friend for childcare or something like that. And so we respect what you have done very much. And if you see comments to the contrary anywhere out there, know that everyone in this courtroom understands how hard you have worked and that we appreciate it. So thank you very much. And with that, you are free to leave. All right, counsel. Do you anticipate needing witnesses or, a lengthy sentencing hearing in this matter?
I don't think it will be lengthy, no, Your Honor. No, I don't think it'd be lengthy either. The only thing that I can potentially potentially envision is if Ms. Renee Driver wanted to speak on behalf of her daughter, I would ask the court to maybe entertain the possibility of allowing her to do that via Zoom, which would be probably the only witness that we would have at that point in time.
Yeah, if they can't get up here, but we'll try to get them here. But if they can appear by Zoom if necessary, that'd be fine. Either of the 2 dates that the court suggested, I think probably are.
12 would be better.
12, but truthfully says 12 is better for her, so it's fine by me.
I have no conflict on the 12th.
All right, this case will be set for scheduling on sentencing on December 12th at 9 o'clock. I'll certainly entertain a request to have witnesses appear by Zoom if that is necessary. To accommodate the witness, Ms. Driver will remain in the custody of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Anything else we need to take up today?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
And we may see you.
Yes.